I looked down and his 2-year-old son was staring at me, and I'm a father, and my first thought was, this kid has nothing to do with this. Why did he have to see that?
The one that has essentially brought you here to be who you are. Are you able to take us through that again? I can replay it from the last time you came on if you don't want to, but I would love to just hear the story of Osama bin Laden, if you don't mind, or you may mind.
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. That was just proof of one of my favorite sayings: wherever you are, be there. Because I joined the Navy on accident. I tried to join the U.S. Marine Corps, and it just so happened, blah, blah, blah. And then I found myself in Osama bin Laden's bedroom 16 years later, simply because I made myself available for anything. I would volunteer for stuff. I would say yes to things. I wouldn't take time off. And that's how it happened. I mean, I don't want to bore everyone with the details, but I'll never forget, because my team was on the mountain to rescue the lone survivor, Marcus Luttrell, and then I was the lead jumper to rescue Captain Richard Phillips on my birthday, April 10th. Well, Good Friday, April 10th, 2009. We flew then, rescued him on Easter. And then I was in the room when a team of women mainly came in, and they said these words: the reason you guys are here is this is as close as we've ever been to Osama bin Laden. And this is years after I personally thought that he was a ghost, but they found him, and then we trained up on it. We had the best team in the world. And then, I mean, just going to Afghanistan with my team, accepting death, knowing that, like, I had a guy before we left, because we knew it was a one-way mission to go get bin Laden. These are brand new helicopters. The pilots have only been flying them for a week and a half. They are the best 4 pilots in the world, but a week and a half is not much. We don't know if they work. We don't know if they'll get shot, if we'll get shot down. There will be a gunfight as soon as we step on the ground. If anyone's going to blow himself up, it's bin Laden. We're going to run out of fuel. We're going to end up fighting with the Pakistani police. God forbid, don't end up in a Pakistani prison. Oh. It's a one-way mission. And I had a friend ask before we left, to the whole team. He said, don't take this the wrong way, because I'm going, but I need to say it out loud. If we know we're going to die, why are we going? Which is a fair question. And we talked about it, and we said, we're not going after Osama bin Laden for the fame or the reward. We're going after Osama bin Laden for the first people who were forced to fight al-Qaeda toe-to-toe to the death, and those were the passengers on United Flight 93 on September 11th. We're going after bin Laden for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday, and then an hour later, she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper because that was a better alternative than what was going on inside, that no one will ever be able to tell us. And, she looked down and made a choice and probably grabbed a stranger's hand, and her last gesture of human decency was holding her skirt down as she jumped from 100 stories. She was never supposed to do that. Those passengers were not supposed to be in the fight. We're supposed to be in the fight, and that's why we're going. And that almost gave us a little bit of it was clarity and focus. And we even had the conversation, like from the movie Braveheart. We were saying, you could pull yourself off at any time. You don't have to go. We have alternates, but if you'll live until you're 90, and if you could imagine being on your deathbed, if you could give every day back for one shot at this guy, would you do it? And the answer is yes. I know it. So get on the helicopter. And then on the flight in, we just we had 90 minutes to get shot down, but worrying about getting shot down is not going to stop a missile. So how are you going to deal with it? I was counting from 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 0. I had a moment of comedy too, because I'm looking at my guys, seeing how they're reacting, because they're going to die too if we get hit. And I looked over, one of my guys actually put his headphones on, was listening to music, and he fell asleep, which is crazy to me. And I actually looked down at him, and I remember thinking, you're asleep literally on the ride to Osama bin Laden's house. Flew in closer. We got about 2 minutes out. The door opened, and we saw the house. We saw the land. We knew it was. I just remember thinking, this is some serious Navy SEAL stuff we're about to do. And then that's when everything went to hell. The first helicopter crash landed in the front yard, and then we were put off in the wrong spot because we were supposed to drop off the dogs, the snipers, and other people, and we were going to go to the roof, but our pilot saw them crash land, and he just put us down outside. And we figured we'd get in from here, and we just knew because we were experienced, and we didn't make it complicated. We didn't talk ourselves into an ass kicking. And we were good because we got good at the easy stuff. And the way that our plan to get bin Laden was a house that big. If the guy in front of you goes left, you go right. Do that over and over and over. And so we did. There was a gunfight inside. I didn't even know how my guys got inside because I was outside. But we just figured it out. There were a couple points in that mission where I had to give myself my own advice. It doesn't matter why we're right here at this time. We just are. There's no reason to argue about it. Why? It doesn't matter why they're in there. They just are. Go. We'll talk about it later. Stop worrying about a mistake that you can't change. And I just watched my guys inside the house, and they all knew the house could blow up at any moment, but I was so proud of them because they didn't stop what they were doing, and they kept doing everything the way we do it, the way we escalate force. Check the door, door's locked. Pick the lock, can't pick it. Kick the door. Hit the door with a sledgehammer. Get the hooligan tool. Go explosive. And I was just thinking, look at these guys. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And I was just proud. And then we slowly got to the second set of stairs. 8 guys back. We ran into Khalid bin Laden. And what we were really good at, though, is when people panic or get excited, they start to talk and yell. We don't. We just quiet down and realize other people can hear us. Instead, don't yell anything. Just calm. And, we ran into Khalid bin Laden on the stairs. He was surprised. So the first guy killed him. And then we went to the second floor, and everybody kind of split off in front of me to cover our threats to the left and right, which were open doors and a few people. And then it was down to 2 guys going up the last set of stairs to Osama bin Laden's bedroom. And one guy was in front of me. I was behind him, and my hand was on his shoulder. Because his job was to look forward. My job was to look backward to get more guys. And once I had enough guys, I'm going to squeeze them so he knows through effective communication we're going. And he just started telling me, we got to go. And he was basically, without so many words, he was saying, because up the top of the stairs there was a curtain, and he could see people moving behind it. And he was assuming those were suicide bombers. And what he was sort of saying was, okay, those are the suicide bombers, and we could beat them, but we got to go now. Like, we have to go. We got to beat him with speed. And I remember thinking, and I wasn't brave at all. I was like, you know what? He's right. And I'm going to blow up now, but I'm tired of thinking about it. Let's just go. And I squeezed him, and we went up. And when he went to the top, he moved through the curtain, and he ran into, I think there were 2 people, and he assumed those were the suicide bombers. So he just tackled them. And he jumped on a grenade that didn't go off. And that was the bravest thing I've ever seen. But like I said a second ago, he went left, I went right. And there was Osama bin Laden standing there, 3 feet away, maybe 5 feet away from me, and he had his hands on his wife's shoulders, Amal, and she'd been shot in the leg somehow, and I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't surrendering, and I assumed he's the suicide bomber, so I had to shoot him in the head. So I shot him twice standing up and one more time, and then I had to move Amal bin Laden out of the way because other SEALs are going to start to come in. I heard Osama bin Laden take his last breath, and the way his head looked, he was dead. But here's the human element. This is another thing that drastically changed my outlook on the world. I looked down, and his 2-year-old son was staring at me, and I'm a father, and my first thought was, this kid has nothing to do with this. Why did he have to see that? And I moved him aside, and then other guys are coming in the room, and I was walking over because I knew I wanted to take pictures of bin Laden, and one of the guys sort of stopped me because I was moving a little slow, and he goes, "Hey, are you good?" And I said, "No, what do we do now?" And he said, he smiled, and he goes, "Well, now we find the computers. You do this every night. Come on, hundreds of times we've done this." And I said, "Yeah, you're right." And he goes, I said, "I'm back. Holy crap." And he goes, "Yeah, you just killed Osama bin Laden. Your life just changed. Now get to work."
Wow.
And we did. And then we knew we needed to get the body in a body bag. And then the craziest part was we had to fly out. And we have to blow up the helicopter in the front yard. So that means we have to call in another one. So we had 2 more helicopters come in that they didn't have any special technology. They're just another crew from SEAL Team 6 and another crew from the Army, which is actually awesome. No one brings this part up, that on the bin Laden mission, SEAL Team 6 was rescued by SEAL Team 6 in the Army, which is just cool. And we got in that helicopter, amazing. Blew up the other one, and then we took off. And now we're sitting in a helicopter on a mission where we know we're going to die, but if we can live for 90 minutes, that's the time it's going to take to cross the border of Afghanistan. We get 50 years, and I get to see my daughters. And but now they can shoot us down. They know we're here. They have jets that we sold them. That's why earlier when I mentioned we don't need to be selling our allies all of our technology, because now Pakistan's going to shoot us down with the U.S.-made F-16. But worrying about it's not going to stop it. So stop worrying. So I started my watch. I'm looking at the guys next to me. It's like, all right, it's been 10 minutes though. It's been 20 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. You can hear how loud it's getting at the 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Now you're getting at 60, 70. And then I started, my mind's racing. I started thinking about a no-hitter at Yankee Stadium, top of the 7th inning. Like, you're not supposed to say anything because I don't want to jinx it, but 80 minutes. Then I started thinking about, to me, the greatest sporting event in the history of the world was the 1980 Winter Olympics, when the U.S. hockey team, full of college kids, played the greatest hockey team ever assembled in the Soviet Union. The Russians hadn't lost a game since the early 60s, won every gold medal, and they were beating Olympic teams in that Olympics by 10 goals. And this group of Americans has no business being on the ice, but now they're winning at 4-3 in the third period. And I remember thinking about them. I could hear the countdown: 10, 9, 8, and then the pilot came over the radio 85 minutes into a 90-minute flight, just very calmly in that pilot voice said, "All right, gentlemen, for the first time in your lives, you're going to be happy to hear this. Welcome to Afghanistan." And that was the end. And that was where the high fives came out, and we made it. The other bird landed. And then that's when the hugs came out. And we did a couple things. We talked to the woman that found him. I gave her a magazine out of my gun and the rest of my bullets, the rest of my rounds. And then we brought Bin Laden to Bagram. And here was the part, again, where if you make yourself available, you can be anywhere, because Osama Bin Laden's body was laying right next to me. They're doing we're back in Afghanistan. They're doing the DNA tests, and they're taking his pictures. And President Obama came out on the TV that we're watching, the huge flat screen, and he said, "Tonight I can report to the American people and to the world, the United States conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda." I hear the president say Osama bin Laden, and I looked at Osama bin Laden, and my first thought was, how in the world did I get here from Butte, Montana?
That is insane.
So, yeah, it is. And that, again, though, that's if a skinny fat kid from Montana who can't swim can become a Navy SEAL, you can do anything.
I prefer to use pleasantly plump, but however you describe it. You are a legend.
Anyway, you want to say it.
I love it. It's so inspiring. I can't thank you enough for your time. Thank you enough for your service, and thank you enough for all the incredible work you still do in the public sphere. So thank you so much again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Erin.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Let me do some fan feedback for you before I let you go. I hope you enjoyed that interview. I hope you enjoyed us crossing to Idaho to get the latest from there, and the show generally. We really appreciate your support. Thank you. We don't take it for granted at all. And let me remind you, my wonderful, wonderful friends, even if you hate me and you express that on my page, you're a fan. Thanks for the engagement. Now, I've got one for you in a second. I'll read it out at the end. Regarding Dinesh, we put a bit of a clip from an interview that we'd done with him about him completely going scorched earth on Candace and Tucker. And I know we don't need to keep talking about them. I know that we should just ignore them, but it's fun because they're so silly. It's fun. Laurie says, "Love listening to Dinesh. He's amazing, smart, and funny. I hope the Dragon's Prophecy will be successful and people will support it. Thanks, Erin, for this brilliant interview." Just looking for the part where Laurie compliments my brilliance, amazingness, and funniness. I'm sure it's coming, Laurie. Just joking. You're amazing. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Erin and Dinesh. This is from Kate. "You are both not falling for the lies and deceit that is so rampant in these times. It's biblical." Thank you so much. Mike says, "It's encouraging to see that at least there are a few remaining voices that haven't given up on sanity and sold their souls for money or clout, and in some cases just to fit in. Bless you all." By Design says, "When I listen to people like you, your wit, humour, smarts, knowledge, respect and common sense, I'm just a little bit more sure, not that I need convincing, that I know it's going to be okay." Thank you. See, that was a we. So I'm assuming I was included in that. We will see. Love the two of you from Israel. Thank you so much, Nir. Really appreciate that. Great interview. One of the best dudes out there. Yes, he is. He is amazing. I want to read that one at the end because it's one of those fan messages. Now, when I interviewed yesterday Musa from Nigeria about the Christian genocide, a couple of bits of feedback. Stephen says, "Thank you, Ms. Molan. The so-called mainstream media does not cover the genocide of Christians and other non-Islamic ethnicities. You were doing your job as a journalist. Thank you. I really appreciate that." Thank you, Erin. This is from Savannah. "I'm a quarter Nigerian and I live in the US. It breaks my heart for Christians in Nigeria. Jihadism is strong in Nigeria and it doesn't get talked about." Absolutely. Thank you so much. And this is what you can do to help, guys, is share. Even if you don't share my interview, share anything. Share anything that helps shed a light on this. And in fact, Senator Ted Cruz, that legend, shared this interview on his X channel, which is amazing. Dinesh, who you guys all clearly love, shared this as well. So I thank them very much for sharing this message. It matters so much. Inti says, I'm an African. Thank you, Erin, for offering your platform to talk about this and staying consistent in your morality, unlike many. Thank you so much. Now, I want to go back to my fan. Mario says, so strange that today I cannot get through even 2 minutes when I once would wait for your podcasts just a couple of years ago. Mario, my podcast is less than 2 months old. Why don't you just say, I hate you, I support terror, and that's it, rather than pretending that you've been a long-time podcast / YouTube watcher. Legitimately, this show is 2 months old. So how you were desperately looking forward to it 2 years ago and now it's gone to hell in a handbasket. That's surprising and absolutely impossible. But thank you for watching. Even that 1 minute, 59 seconds that you get to before you go, ugh, I can't. It helps. Every little bit helps me to continue bringing, according to Mario, this absolute crap to you guys. For those who don't think it's crap, the vast majority of you, thank you. Love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Cannot wait. Take care. Be merry. Lots of love. Bye.